In this video, I'm going to show you how to visualize your designs on objects using photopay.com. Start by opening an image in photopay of an object that you'd like to visualize your design on. I recommend using open source images. This is a picture of a cushion that I took from pexels.com, which is a great source for getting copyright-free images used for your visualizations. The first thing that you need to do is draw a selection around the object that you want to create your visualization on. Zoom in on this cushion so that it's nice and clear. Then I'm going to use the lasso tool, which is the third one down on the left, to draw a selection all around my cushion. This is exactly the same process whether you're visualizing on a dress, a t-shirt, a coffee cup, a shopping bag, sofa, whatever. So I'm using the polygonal lasso tool here, and how that works is you're basically tracing around your object, but the polygonal lasso tool works with straight lines only. So every time you want to change direction, you have to click. So just to show you how it works, you get a straight line, and obviously in order to go around the natural curves of an object, you need to click quite a few times, but I like this lasso tool the best because I feel it gives me the most control. So the more time that you spend clicking around your object, get the outline nice and precise, the more effective your visualization will be. You need to make sure that you get all of those curves of the cushion in. I'm just rushing this for the sake of this demonstration now. You'll obviously spend a lot more time and be much more careful than I'm being. Okay, when you get to the end of your selection and your line joins up, you'll see that your selection turns to a dotted line like this. That's the area that's selected. At this point, you need to make a new layer and fill your selection in with a solid colour. So I'm going to select the paint bucket tool over here, fill my selection in black. Doesn't matter what colour you use. The only reason that we fill in the selection is to make it easy to grab onto later once we've deselected. So here is a selection that I made earlier. Sorry, there's a little bit of a delay on my photopay. I think it's because I'm recording. Okay, so here's my selection that I made earlier, in which I very carefully went around all the nooks and crannies of my cushion to get it nice and precise. You'll notice that there's actually a little bit of the cushion that's peeking out from underneath the chair here. And I wanted to make sure that I got every little bit of the cushion in so that my visualization was as clear and realistic as possible. So what I did was I selected the main body of the cushion first of all, and I got that little dotted line and filled that area of my cushion. Then I added to my selection, so I just selected this part separately and filled it in on the same layer. So if I zoom out, you'll see that this black fill is a separate layer to my cushion photograph. It's really important that you do this on a separate layer or the visualization isn't going to work. So the original cushion image is still visible underneath. I've just created this black silhouette on top. Okay. So when you've selected your object that you want to visualize on and you filled it with a solid colour on a new layer. What you need to do next is bring in the image that you want to use for your visualization. So your design, whether it's a drawing or a lino print or another surface pattern design, painted texture or whatever it is. So I'm going to do that by going to File, Open and Place. And I'm going to choose a design that I've got prepared in a folder on my desktop. Okay. So the design has a layer, black silhouette has a layer, and finally at the bottom is the object. Okay. So what I'm going to do first of all is come over to my design and right click it, and I'm going to rasterize the layer, which will allow me to make adjustments. So using my move tool, I'm going to drag the design over the cushion area, basically get it in the right position. Now this design has plonked on nice and square, but my cushion's on a bit of an angle, so I'm going to rotate my design actually so that it kind of flows with the natural angles of the cushion. So I'm going to go to Edit and Free Transform, and I'm going to grab these corners to change the angle of my design so that it sort of mirrors angles of the cushion. Obviously, depending on your design, this might not be necessary if your design is, it looks the same from any position. If you've got a design where it has to be viewed a certain way, if there's a right way up kind of thing, this is a really important step for making sure that your visualization looks realistic. So I've rotated it to a position that I'm happy with, and now I'm going to use the arrows to stretch my design so that I can't actually see any of that black cushion left underneath. I want to cover the whole of the cushion area, so there's a little bit there visible underneath. I need to make it make sure that it's fully covered. When I'm happy with the position and the size, I'm going to press the return key. Okay. Now I'm going to hide this layer for the minute. It's still there. I'm just going to click that eye to make it disappear while I come back to my black silhouette layer, which is now going to come back into play. Okay, so I'm going to select that black silhouette layer and come over to my magic wand tool. I'm going to click in my silhouette to select it again. This was the reason why we block colour, that we can pick up and drop that selection at any time without having to redraw it with the lesson. Okay, each time we want to select it, so it's really handy. So I've selected the main body of my cushion, but I also want to make sure that I get that little bit in the corner as well. Do you remember the bit from before that pokes out? So I'm going to hold down the Shift key whilst I've got my magic wand selected, add to my selection. So I've now got the little corner and the main body of the cushion selected. I'm going to zoom back. Now, while this area is still selected, I'm going to switch my design layer back on and click on it. You'll see now that inside that area of the cushion is selected on top of my design, and what I want to do is basically delete everything outside of that selection so that the design just covers the cushion and not any of the outside areas. So what I'm going to do is invert my selection. So I'm going to go to so that everything on the outside of that selection is now, the design that's in question rather than anything that's inside the selection. At this point, I can press delete, and you'll see that all of that design that's already looking pretty cool, right? Now, if I go to select and deselect, and then I'll hide my black silhouette layer because we don't need that anymore. The final trick to make your design really come to life is to alter the blending mode. You could actually delete your cushion silhouette at this point if you wanted to, unless of course you want to revisit your visualization and maybe replace this design with another one. I'm going to delete it again. Okay, coming back up to my design layer, and I'm going to click down this drop down menu where it says normal. I'm going to change to multiply and see how my design suddenly takes on the life of the cushion. So all the shadows, the creases in the fabric are now visible. That's actually printed in my design and made up.